My name is Jeremy Rowe, and as you can see, I've sold my car and dumped it all into making this YouTube channel. The car that was sat in this driveway wasn't just any old car, it meant a lot to me. This was my first ever crashed rebuild. It was an Audi S3. At the time, I had very little money, and because of that, I spent way too long rebuilding it. It was about 6 months. I rebuilt this car after spending 10 years watching crash damage rebuilds on YouTube. Unbeknownst to me at the time, this rebuild would kick off a very big goal of rebuilding cars until I get a supercar here on this channel. And unfortunately, because of that, we had to sell it. I'll explain exactly why I ended up selling this and what I used the money for, but first, you need to understand why I rebuilt the car in the first place. It all started from somewhere. I got a clip here from the 31st of August 2024. It was honestly at a pretty delicate point in my life. You see, I'd just taken a job that was a long way from home. It was an exciting job and an exciting opportunity, but it was 1,700 kilometers away from everyone I know and love. At the time, I was made redundant from my job and was really wanting to stay within the same field. Also to do with videography. And it was during this time that somebody had reached out that I met through that job. And they said, hey, if you're available, we want you to come up to Queensland and work for us. It was at the point where I needed to take a job, and I did have another job offer, but if I took that other job offer, it would have taken me out of the videography side of things, and would have felt like a step backwards to me. It was on a Friday I got that call, so I said, thanks very much for the offer. I'm gonna call you on Monday and let you know my decision. On Monday I called and said that I was taking the job, and that weekend I spent 2 days driving up to Queensland with everything I owned, without a house, to a place where I knew nobody, and I moved in with the people that offered me a job until I found this place, and that was when this clip was taken. Again, at a very delicate time in my life. So I haven't been feeling great lately. I moved up to Queensland, 1,800 k's away from my hometown. And, you know, I just started thinking, today I'm going to do something for myself. I am going to buy a crash damage, and I'm going to do it for me, and I'm going to rebuild it on YouTube so I can prove to myself that I can do something fun. And I don't care what it costs, I'm going to get it done and just prove to myself and do something for myself to make me feel good. I'm excited. Now, there were a couple reasons that I wanted to do this. I remember back when I was in high school, a lot of people get attached to YouTubers that they grew up watching. I don't know who it is for you, but I'm sure you've got it. For me, it was Beers for Build. I remember being 16 years old, I would sit in the library at school and watch Beers for Build episodes. The first one that I ever saw was Beers for Build's Lotus Evora series, and that really, I don't know why, but it struck something in me. The way that he had done it was something that I'd never seen before, and it was done in such an entertaining way. And then he did the Nissan GTR, and that GTR, everyone's in a GTR now, but at that time, I think it was the first crash damage GTR on YouTube, period. I could be wrong, but that was the first one that I ever saw. So my love for this stuff was strong, and so was my love for YouTube. So far, I've posted 54 long form videos on YouTube where you can watch me like this. My very first video was posted over 3 years ago, the 13th of February in 2023. And it was titled, Why You Have to Become a Real Estate Agent. Because at that time I was living in Melbourne and I was working as a real estate agent. It's kind of funny to look back on this. The video itself generated 141 views and 3 subscribers. It's privated now. My next videos actually gained a fair bit of traction. So I got out of real estate in early 2023, and then I got into selling motorbikes. There was a short time where I worked for a motorcycle dealership, and I made 2 videos. The only motorcycle to get as a beginner, this was about my MT-07 that I had at the time that got 35,500 views and 233 subscribers. And then the next one, do you really need a brand new MT-07, which eventually got 97,000 views and 165 subscribers. These were essentially motorcycle reviews on bikes that I liked, and it was the first taste of me actually being able to make a video that could get some views on YouTube. But at this point, I still didn't really know what I wanted to do. In the back of my mind, I knew that I would have loved to do car rebuilds, but the legality in Australia is a lot stricter than the US and the UK. We have to go through this check called a written off vehicle inspection. It's hard. There's not a lot of information out there about it. And honestly, it's a lot of capital to be able to do this on a YouTube channel that gets not many views. I then made a couple more motorbike videos, and then I made the video that has gotten me the majority of subscribers on this channel. Is very out of left field. You wouldn't be able to pick it. But on the 19th of May, a couple days before my birthday in 2024, I made a video that got 267,000 views. And it was called The Dracula Flow Interview.
I'm moving different. This shit ain't nothing to me, man. I'm a dog. I'm biting the fart bubbles into bath, smoking that Whoopi Goldberg South Egyptian Fur Burger Deluxe Mega Million Scratcher Skunk Bubba Kush.
Dracula Flow was a very viral series of videos made by Plum Court Records. And that was pretty much all it is. An old guy that was spitting a bunch of lines. I reached out to him on Instagram and paid him $350 or $300 just so I could do an hour-long interview with him at 3 in the morning, and his life and the person he actually is kind of actually lines up with the videos of him, and I guess that's what made this so special.
Hooking up with prostitutes. I really did this. I met this gorgeous freaking stripper. Popped a perk 30, got straight to fucking. You will get so much.
And this ended up getting 267,000 views and more subscribers than I've gotten from any other video. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. 1.1 thousand subscribers. To put that into perspective, I've got 3,800 subscribers at the moment. So that made up the majority of my viewers. It was at about this point that I started getting into contact with people that have done viral things, but also have really interesting lives. I thought that I could interview those people and make a podcast out of it. And I even got in touch with some people that I thought were gonna follow it on really well. Now, I'm from Australia, so I don't get access to all the big celebrities and things like that. But here in Australia, we have Corey Worthington. Now, Corey Worthington was an interesting guy. He is the inspiration for the movie Project X. In Australia, people know him as the guy that threw the massive house party in Narre Warren, which was in Melbourne and not far from me. And I thought this would start off my career in viral people that also have interesting lives. So I fired off some emails and he got back to me. We had a couple phone calls and everything was set up. During this time, I also got in touch with another Australian icon, Mr. Democracy Manifest.
We're under arrest. Look, I'm under what? This is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at the headlock here. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my. This is the bloke who got me on the before. What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?
If you're not Australian, you probably won't understand this, but it's important to know that this guy went viral everywhere for eating a succulent Chinese meal. He got arrested like back in the 80s and the whole thing was just, I don't have any words for it. He went dark. Like you would search him up and you wouldn't be able to find one, who he actually was, or two, where he was. Like you couldn't find what suburb he lived in or roundabout area. I was doing a lot of digging around because I knew that if I could get this guy to do a podcast with me, it would be absolutely massive. Eventually I found out that somebody had written a book and published it about the guy's time in prison. I found out that the person in the video's name was Jack Carlson. So I hassled the book publisher, hassled the author. I sent him emails, followed up, and eventually he sent me back Jack Carlson's phone number. I've still got it written in my phone. So I called him a couple of times and it seemed like he wasn't in great health, but in the end, after I explained to him that I was just a guy with a camera, he seemed pretty happy to just have a chat with me. But unfortunately, I woke up one day to find that Jack Carlson had passed away. Yeah, it was just a strange sort of thing because I'd called him so often to just check that things were still okay and that I could still come up, especially after booking the flights and everything. It was a really weird feeling. I still don't really know how to feel about that. Instead of going with the interview with Corey Worthington, I started to think, do I really want to do this? When you start to think about what you want to be doing for a living, you'd kind of hope that it really lines up with your passions and your interests. Even though that's stuff that does interest me and I would definitely watch, it's not what I would want to spend my time doing. I could see that if I'd gone down that route, I would have gotten to a point where I was making money through it. But if I started to get the views that way, I'm not sure it would have been something that I would have ended up being happy with, and I would have probably just ended up making those videos only for views. I started thinking longer term. It was about this time that I got made redundant and moved up here. When I was sitting on that bench, I had a serious conversation with myself and decided that I was gonna give it a go. Deciding that I was gonna give it a shot and actually giving it a shot are two different things, because it wasn't like now where I buy this stuff in cash. That was where selling the car come in. At the time, I had a 2017 Audi A3, which was pretty much the exact same car as the Audi S3, just not the sports model. At the time, I had no money in the bank. I had a $10,000 loan on an A3. I needed funding. So I hit up the bomb. My mum was a single mum. We had what we needed when we were a kid, but that was very much it. And look, I'm not telling you that as a sob story or anything, but you need to understand that what happened next was a very, very big thing. I called my mum. I told her that I'd been watching these videos on YouTube since I was in high school and that I wanted to give it a go myself. She knew that I had no money, so she knew what was coming. Mum, I'm about to ask for an enormous amount of money. And because I don't have any savings, I'm not gonna be able to pay you back until I sell the car, because I'm gonna have to use my income to save up for the parts to be able to repair it. I said, I've seen a car at auction and I wanna bid on it. She asked me how much it was. I said, I think it's gonna go for up to $20,000. And she paused, thinking about it for a good 10 seconds and said, okay, no more than 20,000. And it's important that you understand that everything that happened after this point was only possible because of my mum having faith in me when I had no money, and willing to take $20,000 off the home loan just for me to chase my dream. But it was just an enormous ask, and on my end as well, honestly, a really dumb decision, because then I'm in $30,000 worth of debt. I've got no money on the side, and now I've committed to what I wouldn't realize at the time, but essentially a year of living on scraps and trying to save up enough money just to be able to buy one car part at a time. I was gonna also make what I called Turbo Tales. Turbo Tales were sort of car stories. Think of Donut Media with Up to Speed. I did this because all of the people that watched the Dracula Flow interview and the motorbike videos weren't watching the car rebuilds, because they were just too different. So I started making Turbo Tales that got 20, 40, 100,000 views each, but they were just me sitting in my room. I didn't really enjoy making them. More importantly, I didn't see the viewership jump from Turbo Tales over to the rebuild videos, which was the whole point. So even though I saw success with viewership, again, it just wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to make rebuild videos. So after finally fixing the S3, I registered it and had it to drive around. I sold the A3 that I had for about $18,000 and cleared the $10,000 worth of debt that I had from that car. And then with the extra $8,000 I had left over, I gave it to Mum. But this was after like 6 months, maybe even a bit longer. Then there was this car, my girlfriend's ND MX-5. So my girlfriend was getting to the point where she wanted to buy a new car, and a brand new one of these would have been about $20,000. And with my newfound expertise, I said to her, hey, we can get this for a fair bit cheaper if you buy a crashed one. She would have had to get a loan if it was a $20,000 non-crashed one, but we found one in Melbourne, in my hometown, that was crashed in the front end. It was white, the bumper was missing, the hood was crumpled up, but we didn't know that at the time, and it cost us about $7,000. We rebuilt this, wrapped it purple, registered it, and she had a new daily driver. At this point, we were left with 3 cars. The S3, this car, and her old car. Enter the Ford Fiesta. This is my girlfriend's old car. Well, it still is hers. It's got almost 300,000 kilometers on it, and it's my daily driver. This is how I was able to pay my mum back and continue my dream. It's very much so on its last legs. It's manual. Because it doesn't matter if it gets a bit scraped up, it's a lot of fun to drive. You see, when I finished the MX-5, she was gonna sell this, and I thought, this could be an opportunity. I joke that I hate driving this car, but it taught me a very powerful lesson, and that is, you don't need a fancy car. It was really hard for me to do, but I paid the rego on this just so I'd have a car to drive around, and I sold the S3 that I was driving around. Now, I sold that for about $33,000. We made about 3 grand on that car. After I paid back mum what I owed her for the car, I was left with about $19,000, give or take. I could have used that money to buy a reasonable daily driver for me, but instead it became this. And that money became a pool to make YouTube videos for you guys. $19,000, this is what I got. The first thing I bought was a flooded Range Rover Sport. Now this thing was a mission in itself. There was a lot of electrical problems and the car was a bit older, but I'd always wanted a Range Rover and I was up for trying something new. The Range Rover was also the first actual car in the Rebuilding Cars Until We Get a Supercar challenge, as well as every other car that comes after it. We rebuilt it and sold it for about a $2,000 profit. I realized it was going to be really hard for me to make a video every single week, and I wanted to do that so I could grow the channel. I bought multiple things at once to try and make one video a week. We bought the GSX-R 750. Then we bought a ZX4 RR. Then on a whim, I bought this Audi S3. It was crashed, I don't have a key for it, and I haven't even started it up. And next, I'm going on a holiday to Melbourne, where I'm gonna be picking up yet another car, fixing it there, mostly, and driving it all the way back to the Gold Coast. Everything in my garage at the moment are all crashed cars. The MX-5 crashed, now fixed, and the daily driver for my girlfriend. The Gixxer 750 that I want to ride for myself for a little bit. The ZX4 RR that we're going to sell, and if we can do it cheap enough, this Audi S3 could replace the Ford Fiesta. I posted my first crash damage rebuild video on the 24th of November 2024. That means for over a year now, I've been chasing this dream on YouTube. And that's my entire story from the beginning up to now on the crash damage rebuild cars, motorbikes, and how I began the channel's journey of rebuilding cars until we get a supercar. If you like the video, you like the mission, you like the story so far, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.